This could be your year. Make an old man proud of you. Forget about the tears on the level. See me eye to eye. Stand up like a man, even from the other side. On the level.
Where's the music?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the MoGraph Podcast. My name is Dave.
And I'm Matt, and joining us today for his yearly Halloween episode, Mr. Dave Ariew.
Happy Halloween! I have no costume. I'm unprepared.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween! It's the energy that counts.
Hopefully, everybody's
Dave,
doing
you're looking
well.
very
We're-
melodramatic.
I'm supposed to have
with that,
Halloween lighting. Here we go. That's better.
Oh.
Got to get my Halloween lighting going. You know.
Change.
Ari, if you have headphones on,
change mine.
I think Matt's getting massively noise canceled for me. Or if
Okay.
you turn it
what?
down
I
just a little
just
bit.
put on. I
Oh.
realized I didn't have headphones, so I just threw them on. Could that have been me
It's
messing
possible.
things up?
We'll see how it goes. I think we're doing okay.
Do you need me to
Speakers,
get
Matt,
headphones?
AirPods.
'Cause I gotta go track them down. real quick.
We'll see how it
Trick,
goes.
trick.
If it's bad,
Okay.
we'll do it. But yeah, so we're gonna do some fun Halloween stuff today, and one of the reasons we're able to bring you this show is because of our sponsor, Otoy. They are MoGraph's universal sponsor. They are the makers of Octane Render and the Render Network. And with Octane Render and the Render Network, you can make beautiful renders and then render them quickly. Just go to otoy.com and thank them for helping to make our show possible. And speaking of which, real quick, I do want to mention that Patrick 4D's Behind the Renders is going to be out later today. That's
sweet.
That's going to be a fun episode. It's all good to go. It's all ready to go. You can see what it looks like here. He's going to go through that Dove bar, that sweet, sweet Dove bar, and show us behind some of the secret octane-ness. What, Matt?
Lose audio. There we go.
Oh, we lost
Oh
you
yeah,
for a
we
second.
lost you
Matt.
for a second. Yeah.
Okay, good. He's still there. Yeah, last week we lost internet. That was no fun at all.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and we didn't have Skype up until like literally 5 minutes before the show started.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
Thanks,
is
technology.
Skype went out. Yeah,
We can
so-
still see your screen.
So, oh yeah, I'm doing stuff on the screen. So let me come back here. We've got some fun stuff we're going to do today. We got these. We got this AI app we're going to play with. We got a couple other notes. We're going to talk about kind of what we've been up to in general. Because Ariew, we haven't talked to you, I don't think, since last year.
Yeah.
I think it's. I was gonna say, it was camp last year, so
Yeah, I
a
guess
little
you're
over
right.
a year. Yeah,
Did we not see each other? We saw each other at SIGGRAPH.
I saw you.
SIGGRAPH was in Denver.
I didn't
Matt-
go to SIGGRAPH.
Matt was.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. it's
I
been a
drove
while.
through Denver, but I didn't actually go to SIGGRAPH.
You bastard! You didn't tell me.
I had my two kids with me. We were coming
Oh,
back
yeah.
from a funeral.
I gotcha. Yeah. Oh, would you say it was a funeral?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Dave, I'm loving
Yes,
all
sir.
the new graphics and stuff.
Yeah, you
I'm
like
really
the
sad that
overlays?
we're not going to we can't keep these for like a couple more weeks.
We'll have to do.
Yeah,
it
they
with
look so
something
good.
else. Yeah, we'll have to do it with the holidays or something. Have
Yeah, do
Santa
some
come
like
out.
some of the balls coming down.
the
the
Christmas
balls.
bowls.
The
Yeah.
Christmas ball.
Yeah. So I took some of the AI video stuff. If you're at camp this year, I took some of the touch designer stuff, and I just started running prompts through it this year to make some stuff for Halloween. So you can see here, I just, just took I took some prompts that I liked, and then I like combined some prompts and put them into ChatGPT, and I had it just come up with some new prompts based on what I did. And I just said, I want some good stuff for Halloween. So
That's
this
cool.
was all in Touch Designer, but I did an output write node, right? So where, you could, it basically everything I was doing, you could save. So I sat there for like an hour just running these prompts through and just like making some fun, like creepy looking stuff, did some witches, did some haunted mansions, did some bats, watercolor gravy things, like super weird.
I like the graphical kind of interpretations, like that one. This more silhouette-y stuff is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I took that into, let's see if I can find it here. Just saved it all out as a file when I was done, which is pretty simple. And then if this one will open here, yeah, you can see.
Rad.
I put it in the window.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
You go all out for the holidays, for like all of them. It's just too much effort for me. Like, I mean, once in a while we'll do like a big Halloween party, but like, I don't know. I don't know how you do it, man. It's like, it's so busy. Like all the client work and everything is so busy, and then you just go all out for.
I just kill myself,
Yeah, seriously, because I'm not even looking forward to like getting the Christmas tree out of the closet.
Yeah.
Like last year it was just a Christmas tree with a few lights on it, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still in like holiday denial mode, because it's like especially in Colorado, like the winters can be brutal. The last 2 winters they lasted 6 months, and it's like sometimes shit got down to like -10 degrees, and it's just like so much snow like over the course of the winter and then into what should be the spring. But this year we've had like a really extended fall, so it feels fair. It's like, okay, it just started getting cold this week, so it's like, okay, I guess we can live with it, but we're still not ready.
We have the opposite problem here, is that it's 108 degrees for about 6 to 8 months. And
oh my God.
Like, we don't even want to go outside.
It's actually kind of nice right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it just got nice, perfect for today, just for Halloween. So I got this set up. I'm going to do my DJ table outside as well, and the smoke machine, set it off. But I wanted to get this going today. I'm supposed to be a zombie. I was going to try and wear the zombie makeup for the episode, but I just didn't have enough time. I want to test it. I don't know if you've ever worn makeup like that before, but whenever you, like, it's like kind of a gray makeup. So like whenever you put it on, it kind of stains your skin a little bit, even if you try and scrub it. So you look blue, so
weird.
Yeah. Julie tried it, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to make sure I don't break out, or something first. But so I'm going to be DJing.
Well, at least it was gray and not black.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you'd be in trouble.
Yeah, if you couldn't scrub it off, oh my gosh. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to go out in public until this is gone. I don't know how else you get the stuff off, Yeah, Matt says it's great weather today in Texas. It's perfect. Eric says, oh, it's EJ, simple Christmas tree hack, never take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
my in-laws, we were over at their house yesterday. It was my mother-in-law's birthday, and they already have their Christmas lights up. And when I went outside and I noticed that, I walked back inside and I said, hey, you guys still have your Christmas lights up. You might want to take those down.
I think you should just be able to install
hilarious.
Your Christmas lights and just leave them up hidden.
I hate those.
Not where you can see them.
We got a couple people in our neighborhood that have those like
jellyfish
lights. Yeah. And I'm just like, no,
I don't like the colors that they produce. Like, I like the classic Christmas vibes, like the warmer tone.
I love the giant bulbs.
Oh, you like the giant?
Yeah.
The giant bulbs. Those are cool.
Yeah.
You know.
So we've got a little fun thing we're gonna do. We're gonna catch up a little. We got just a few topics to talk about, but I wanted to get y'all's opinion real quick, though. Matt, you had this in the notes with Fab.com. Ariew, have you heard what's going on with that? And
No.
Megascans?
Yeah, so it's all the Megascan stuff, and I think we'll go more in depth with it next week when we have Winbush on, because he kind of did this whole tutorial about how, basically Epic is switching out from Quixel and Megascans and moving over to this Fab thing. I think they're also bringing Sketchfab, because they bought out Sketchfab a long time ago, right? And they're trying to implement all this stuff into one central thing instead of having to deal with 3 or 4 different companies all at once. But with it, for now until the end of the year, you can download all of the Megascan stuff for free, and it's which is cool. It's great. Yeah. But I've been hearing people complain a lot about, oh, well, what about Sketchfab, because it's such a great, resource.
So wait, are you saying that I should cancel my Megascans account that I...
You should not be paying for Megascans right now.
I pay for it for like $15 a month, and I haven't even used it in months, and I completely forget that I'm being billed for it.
You should cancel that right now.
Okay, so what's the deal again? At the end of the year, it transitions to something.
So if you go to, what is it? Is it fab.com?
It's fab.com.
Is that what it is? Yeah, fab.com. You can get all the Quixel Megascans for free, or go through and claim them. I'm not sure about the extra stuff, but I know there's someone has built a GitHub link or something like that to where you can actually download all of them.
Yeah, you have to download all. They're going
Does it still have
Does
it still have a Megascans bridge though?
I honestly don't know.
I don't believe
have
it's
no
going
idea.
to. I don't believe we're going to have the access to the Octane versions and all that anymore.
Yeah.
It's really disappointing.
That's such a time saver. I don't know. Yeah.
It really is.
So crazy. And it's got big,
save
medium, small on here as well.
So I
this
guess
is a super hub for assets.
And you know what sucks too is that sometimes I do want the 8K versions, but a lot of times I'm like, no, I only want 4K, and to save all of those is just going to be insane.
I know.
Oh, Bridge stopped working already?
Oh
no!
Dang.
Oh, dude, that's so disappointing.
Oh, so I really should cancel then.
Oh,
yeah, you really should. You shouldn't be paying them for nothing. They might have already canceled it. Maybe you just didn't realize.
Well, on the site it says get all Quixel Megascans for free. Claim now.
Yeah.
All right.
I went ahead and claimed it. It says Megascans claimed, but I don't know what that means.
Right.
So.
Huh.
I don't know. It's been a lot of it's a big source of contention in the industry the past few weeks has been this whole Fab thing. So I'm interested to talk about it with Winbush,
Mm-hmm. And then you got some sort of Gaussian splat thing in the notes.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, we were chatting in Discord, and this was, someone posted this about a month ago. It was some Gaussian splat renders of an abandoned coffee shop or somewhere in France. Play this. This is absolutely insane.
Whoa.
The amount of detail and everything in this. And what was so cool was the mirrors as well.
How does that
I don't
work?
know exactly how Gaussian splat works, or whether they whether it's able to see through mirrors similar to, or whether it's actually if it's using pictures. I know nothing about Gaussian splatting, sorry.
How
if it's
do
using
they scan this?
Dude, I don't know, but it is even the fine details on some of the brushes and some of the other stuff, and I love how just dusty and gross it is. Seriously, wow, the video that we're showing right now is not doing any justice. Yeah. Barbershop, not.
That's so good. I want to know how they scanned it, because everything is just so clean. And it
it's
looks
so
like it's
clean.
60 frames too.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Right?
And I want to know. And the mirror, it goes in. Okay, so
yeah, because if you look, the mirror is kind of once they go into the mirror, it's kind of crappy. I'm thinking, it's just creating that environment,
which means it's not using LiDAR. It's
correct.
Using photogrammetry, if that's the case.
It's using photogrammetry. Yeah.
Because it doesn't know the difference between a mirror and anything else.
Tom says Luma AI. Is that Luma AI?
Is it Luma AI?
Okay.
I've tried.
Nah.
Yeah.
No,
I
there's no way.
claimed the mega scans. and
Yeah,
it
you
looked
did.
like I was not. Looks like I was not being charged, so that's good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
good.
this is insane.
Wow. Man, if
Right?
I've played with Luma AI, but man, that is so good.
You guys
Isn't
are
it?
making me feel like both old and very out of touch with the industry right now. That's
Dude,
the thing
no.
we should talk about.
Here's the thing. You don't need to feel like you're out of touch with the industry. I feel the exact same way. It's
Mhm.
because like the amount of AI stuff that is out there right now is absolutely insanely mind-blowing. Like literally every week we're finding some new AI thing. And yeah, there's going to be this big bubble. It's an AI bubble right now. And that
Yeah.
thing is going to burst at some point, and you'll have the people like, you know, Adobe and Boris who have been incorporating a lot of these AI things into their workflows. You'll have those people survive, and probably Topaz Labs. I can see them doing well, and probably what's the ML?
Runway.
Runway ML.
Yeah.
I think Runway will survive, but a lot of these little offshoots and stuff like that, I think they're gonna die. You know, they're gonna die because of it, and like that time is coming. But you shouldn't feel left behind because there's
It's
so
all
much
just
out
massively
there.
confusing. Yeah.
It is, yeah. There's so
and like
much
how
out
much
there.
of it is actually useful for our workflow right this
Correct.
second.
Yes, exactly. That's another thing. It's like the stuff that Adobe's doing, you know, with Fireflies and stuff. I can absolutely 100% see a workflow with that, and we have worked, you know, done that in our workflow before. The
Yeah.
stuff with Runway ML, like being able to remove backgrounds and stuff like that. That's been really good, but it's like it's not perfect. You know, like if you're using it for a garbage mat, awesome, it works great. But
Yeah.
there's so many things out there, you know, and it's like as soon as someone comes up with a new comfy UI, you know, node or something like that, it's like, okay, well, here comes Adobe and Boris. They're going to incorporate those into theirs as well, you know. So
I am getting a little
I don't know.
slap back, Ariew. If you could just turn it down just a little bit, I think it's coming back through a little. As long as you can hear us.
Is that better?
We'll see. Check. Hello. Yeah, I think we're good. We'll see when Matt
Yeah, I just
talks.
kept it down. Cool.
I've got a lot of energy right now.
Yeah.
I'm full of caffeine.
All
Red
hopped
Bulls.
up on Mountain Dew.
Well, no, it's Monster Energy drink, the
Okay,
white
that's
one.
way better. Way better than
But I've
that.
also had like 2 gigantic coffees today.
Dang, you
You
know what
know,
that makes
so
me
it's
want?
like
That
what?
makes me want
a
Monster Energy drink.
Pumpkin. Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say like
I'll
a
go
pumpkin
get
spice
one.
latte.
Con
Yeah.
says it's Nerfs, not photogrammetry.
Is it?
But I mean that makes sense still. It
I
still
see.
works.
I don't even know what nerfs are. Nerfs are those like?
You know, it's
whole
those
bunch of-
It's like
footballs.
it's this little gun that you run around shooting
Yeah.
people with. They have little darts and things.
There it
Yeah,
is.
Yeah.
we're on the same page, right? Yeah. So Ariew, what have you been doing? What have you been doing the last year? The industry's wacky.
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
Yeah, I really want to hear how it's been wacky for you guys. For me, I fell into like a concert visuals rabbit hole, which has been really
I've been
good.
seeing you doing a lot of concert visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started the year off with like the Super Bowl spot with Modern Logic, which was like the most
Saw that.
complex camera move that I've ever put together. I mean, you know, it ended up being this job where it was like a million revisions on a single
Yeah.
camera.
And that
move.
was the one that Brandon Parvini ended up quitting because of, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was.
He
just
mentioned that
over
at camp.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, it started with I think Mariah Carey.
Okay.
and so I did like a lot of like set extension type stuff for her, just like some nice like beautiful backgrounds and whatnot. Because her show is not like, you know, it's not like an EDM show. It's just like just nice like peaceful vibes and pools of, you know, water with rain falling into them and lights playing on the environment and stuff like that. You know, a lot of like prismy stuff with you know, Octane's. I got to play around with Octane's photon tracing kernel for the first time and did a lot of caustic stuff with like prisms.
Dude, the caustics are insanely fast.
Yeah, they're really
Like,
fast. It's cool.
we-
I mean,
I-
it's
I've-
still really expensive to render, but it's like way faster than, you know, PMC or any of that stuff is, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
I did a few tests with some glass stuff. We had some people. I've been freelancing it, already been chewed lately, you know. And one of the guys was trying out like different renderers, like V-Ray and blah blah blah. He didn't try out Octane with some of his caustics. I was like, let me try this, you know.
Yeah.
I did it, dude. It was so fast,
Yeah, yeah.
incredibly fast.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And then let's see, what else did I do? Then I like jumped into Morgan Wallen. So that was like a big, stadium show.
Nice.
With Raw Cereal. Mariah Carey was with oh, now I'm blanking on the name of the studio. Human Person. So
Okay.
those are two of my main clients. They're really cool. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot more money flowing into concert visuals. So Morgan Wallen was just like a ton of like fluid sims and like fire tornadoes and stuff. And so that was pretty cool. And then I actually had two jobs with Calvin Harris. The first one was like my infinite mirror room look, like just doing some like, very tightly synced EDM mirror room madness with, they actually had like some AI, like deep fake. They recorded some people on green screen to like bring in the original performers, but they deep faked the performers. So, it's like, so that was interesting. So I like brought in that green screen deep faked footage into the mirror rooms and had it reflecting all over the place. So it was
That's
cool.
fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And then after that, I came back to Calvin Harris with Raw Cereal and did like a ton of like just really abstract like light sculptures with crazy fisheye lenses, and just like I love doing like the trippy weird madness.
Yeah. How much of the work that you're doing for concert visuals is like pre-planned versus like just you messing around, being like, this is just what
varies.
I do?
It varies. Like a lot of it,
If it varies.
Well, if it's very.
It's very. A lot of it, they come to the table with, it's like any spectrum of, sometimes it's like, we love your work. Like for the Calvin Harris thing, it's like, we love this mirror room look. I think this will be perfect. He's into this spiritual vibe, like just go crazy with it. So that was like me basically creating a 4-minute music video in 3 weeks, just of my own work. Yeah, but it's my own work. So it's like, I can just rely on previous project files and mostly just render stuff out and like retime it to music and, do a bunch of light passes and just, whatever. So it's like, that's already a workflow that I'm really comfortable with. And then other times it'll like for Ice Spice, I did this thing. It was like, really specific, like, bridge and a train crossing over with lots of like green lighting and grungy, New York City vibes and VDBs and stuff like that. Just designing that scene took a lot longer just for like something that was a still, like essentially a still composition. And then afterwards I did this helicopter fly through the city that seamlessly transitions into that. So that kind of thing, they have a much more defined idea, but I don't know. It's like my favorite when for certain jobs, they'll be like, here's the deck and it's just like mood boards. Right. And then like, they'll have like, these are the colors like magenta and green, or, that was very much the case for like, I did work for Megan Thee Stallion, and her whole thing was snakes. Like it was just tons of snakes, but there's still a lot of like.
I've seen a ton of the stuff that you've been posting lately.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like with that, it's, they'll have some just loose, mood boards and whatever. And I'll go through and be like, I like this, this, and this. I want to do these. And they're like, sure, go for it. So it's like a lot of it I'm directing myself to a degree, but then there's still like some kind of constraint. So, anywhere in between, from like very tightly planned beforehand to completely unplanned, but it's definitely like the most artful, I think, medium that I've found within client work, just because there is that like just relying on me to create my own style a lot of the time. Yeah.
For sure. That's
so
fun.
I did. What's that?
I said that's fun. Being
really
able
fun.
to actually like do the stuff that you're good at and
I think what we want to move towards as 3D artists is like, okay, what are we already good at? Like not to say we want to rest on our laurels, but it's like the creativity and feeling of fun flows a lot more easily when you're doing something that's already within your wheelhouse that you've been doing for like, 5 or 10 years, like that's sure. Patrick Foley said that same thing. I saw this like, Instagram reel that he posted where it was like, like the 3D artists are just expected to so often reinvent the wheel. Like every job is completely new and we have to like, research and do all this extra work to figure out the techniques. And after a while, it gets really exhausting. So it's like eventually he just invented a style for himself, dug into the food, food 3D art stuff, and you know, and it pays better when you have a specialty like that. So
Yeah.
I think it's really great to start, you know, with this broad scope of, you know, understanding everything that there is to do with 3D and even cinematography and photography and all of that, and then honing in more and more on like what your specialty or like range of specialties are. You know, and yeah, I think it also allows you to work much faster. So I was able this year to often double or triple book myself. And have like, you know, so I'd be like making 2,000 a day kind of thing because I was double booked, you know, and that was awesome. Like that's, you know, where you want to be. It's like after, you know, like switching timelines to NFT world for a couple years and seeing
that's a
possibilities.
great description of that. That's like the perfect
How
description.
it felt, you know, and then having to switch back to the real world. It's like, okay, what are the ways that we can, as 3D artists, really, you know, improve our income to get back to that? You know, we know what's possible. We know the ceiling used to be, you know, maybe $1,000 a day. Then people busted through that ceiling, you know, and we were all kind of like trying to follow in his footsteps for a while, or at least a lot of us were. And there was a much bigger like risk reward aspect to that. But I think we can bring those kind of ideas and elements into this line of work, like client work. It's like, okay, maybe the risk reward is that I know how to do these types of jobs really, really fast. I can satisfy my client in 2 or 3 hours a day and make it look like I've done a full day's work, and they're totally happy, you know. And because I've been doing this style for so long, because I've got all these project files, you know, to dig up from years past that I can kit bash together, and because I've got this workflow that's so solid, like we should be getting paid more as we advance in our careers because we've got so much experience under our belt. And because we're working faster. So it's like, okay, I can double up on jobs from time to time. And it didn't kill me. It wasn't, you know, I was still maintaining my hobbies of pinball and horses and all the things I want to do, you know. And yeah, there's an ebb and flow to it. But on the whole, yeah, it was a really good year. So yeah, I worked for, you know, like I said, like Calvin Harris, Megan Thee Stallion. I did Missy Elliott. I did something for Dirty Heads, Stick Figure, Tones and I, Clausy and LS Dream. That was cool because they approached me to basically license a bunch of my NFT artwork. So it was like I had to re-render some stuff, basically reformatting a lot of my content. But it's like now I've got this huge library. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough.
You're all good.
I've got this huge library at this point, you know, from my NFT years. Probably like 50 to 60 minutes worth of content that I've created that are just like mirror box animations, you know, and those are very useful for concert visuals. So it's like I can send people that library and be like, pick whatever you want. Like this is the style. We can re-render these things in any aspect ratio or resolution. We can change the colors. We can even retime it to your artwork or to your songs. And then, you know, it's like, obviously, if I have to retime and re-render it, it costs a bit more. But it's like almost like a way that they can license my pre-existing content. So for LSZ, this is like a show. It was like these artists, Clausy and LS Dream. I don't really know them, but they're kind of like dubsteppy EDM. But they found my work through Instagram. And yeah, they just loved all the abstract mirror box animations. So they licensed a ton of stuff. And it was like $7,000, and I think I put in like maybe, you know, 5 hours of work, you know.
Nice.
So it's like
good hourly rate.
That's a good hour rate, yeah. So, you know, that kind of stuff is possible if you have that bank of like content to draw on. And yeah, I also did, you know, a month of Zed. I came back to, that's like my home at this point. My home base is Zed.
Yeah.
Did a month of Zed with Ryan Talbot and Gabe, obviously, who was directing the show, and then Kazzy's was on there too, and yeah, it was just a small team, but it was really fun. It was for his new Telos tour, and I just got to see it at Red Rocks like a couple weeks ago, and it was
cool.
It was fucking sick. Like the light show actually outdid the content by far. In this case, he like really leaned into this super sophisticated light show and this like lighting rig that could do things that I've never seen before. You know, it was just like really sophisticated, like a really sophisticated show. It was all kind of themed around stained glass. So we kind of created all of these like abstract interpretations of stained glass, you know, or like there was a very spacey song that I did. So in that case, it was, but there
Space,
were
space,
always
space.
space. Yeah. And this one was even more trippy with like kind of combining space and mirror boxes and like distorted weirdness. But for it was like the theme throughout the show was stained glass. And so we kept coming back to that in each piece of concert visuals in some way or another, whether it was a frame around the visuals or just little glass elements that happen to be within the content. So yeah, I really like when we get to go for like a long time on a single show and create like a consistent vibe throughout the show. And that's kind of like rare. A lot of the time it's just like create this random song for this artist, and it's like okay, but it's really nice when you get to design something that has that internal consistency throughout and feels like just like a cohesive show. And then the past couple of months I've been doing something completely different, this Christmas spectacular for Radio City Music Hall. So it was still like
nice.
huge. Yeah, it was fun. It was like Santa flying around with particles, sparkly particles everywhere.
Like
and I
you.
do
All the particles.
string lights dropping and parting with rope dynamics
Right.
and all of that. And I hired Thanos. I like kind of assembled the team, and I got Mark Thorson on there.
Nice.
And Noglind was on there with us. And then Thanos came in as just like the sniper to like in like just a few days he spat out all of these like C4D project files with crazy X particle setups. And he's like, man, this is so easy for me. He was like, I worked maybe 2-3 hours a day. I feel like I'm stealing this guy's money. I'm like, no, dude, you saved our asses. Like, we don't know this X particle stuff as well as you. So again, like, just goes to show if somebody's got like this crazy level of experience, you can really make bank on it just in certain unexpected ways.
Yeah, and it's worth it. That experience.
It's worth it to the client, And then one other cool thing about this job is we did use render. So because they were, I did this like cloud fly through sequence with Santa, and the renders were 7K with these really heavy volumetrics.
Wow.
Well, actually, the full raster is 14K. I don't think we ever ended up going that high. Like we were gonna, and it was gonna be 60 FPS. We were gonna like double everything with Topaz and upres it to 14K and everything. But the files were so massive, and it was such a hassle. And also like the show, a lot of it, they've been like accruing their visuals over like a decade. Like this is literally the 100th anniversary of this Christmas spectacular. With I guess it's with the Rockettes and all that stuff, but it's like a lot of it's not going to be like 60 FPS with the super high fidelity and whatnot. So we got the resolution like good enough for it to be like sharp, on location and whatnot. Like if it were me, I would have been all OCD and like done everything, pixel perfect and like 14 pixels.
Is it LED wall?
Partly LED wall. There's an 8K LED wall in the back, and then there's this thing called a hollow scrim in front of that makes it look like there's holographic projections. So like, for instance, Mark Thorson, and Jan Sledecko is also on. So Mark and Jan made this like scene with all these presents spiraling around with particles that get sucked into a bag that then bursts into a bunch of cardinals that fly around. So it's like stuff like that. It's all rendered on black, but with a little glow. And when you use a really wide lens, it creates this perspective in front of the audience, and it's like kind of shot from below. So it feels like it's from the audience's perspective, but it really looks like there's this hologram like spinning around. So it's just a scrim, and
they do something like that at Disneyland with the Spider-Man ride, where like they've got Tom Holland coming out and acting, and it's like a screen with him, but like it's see-through. So like if you move your head, you see like the parallax or whatever. But
exactly.
It's really neat.
It's a simple trick, but it works really well. And then like for particles, like there could be like, you've got this foreground layer of the presence and particles, and then the background LED wall also has some sparse particles, so it feels like there's parallax. Or for my thing, like I did these, string lights that are ropes that drop down, like unfurl and then part. So that was like a big hassle to set up. I had like 50 iterations on that one file. It's like driving everything with, fields to get the lights twinkling, like red and green lights twinkling. But then as soon as the ropes are moving, the lights are moving through that noise. Like, and the
Yeah.
noise is like a world noise. So they start flickering really fast. And then like, I didn't know how to solve that. So I had to be like, Thanos, help. So, we would just hire him for a day here and there to like solve my problems that I was too, technically stupid to solve. So he did this really smart thing where he had a version of of the ropes that were just static and not simmed. And then, using that, the noise that's driving that that cloner essentially is used as a field. So it's like taking that as a field and matching the animated thing to the static thing. I'm not explaining it very well, but it's like one of those complex things
It's
that I would
something
never
technical.
have thought of.
Yeah.
It was something technical it didn't go over my head. I totally get it, but it's like not a simple setup, not something that you would just intuitively be like, oh yeah, let's do that. So it's really great to have like someone like that as your point guy on the side, But and then the other really crazy technical thing about this job was, so the Santa fly through, we wanted to treat like the sphere. So it's not just the hollow scrim and the LED wall behind it. There's projections on all the coves. So like this Radio City Music Hall is huge and it wraps around everyone. So there are times where, the cardinals, for instance, that are on the scrim or the LED wall will fly off and then they're flying up over the audience's head, right? So it's like you have to continue that animation.
So you've got like spherical stuff. You've got two
it was a
different
lot.
layers of LEDs.
Yeah.
That's insane, man.
Yeah,
That's
it
a
was
lot
a
of
lot.
deliverables.
Yeah, but it was cool. Like with the team of like 6 people, we were able to handle it all, no problem. And like, like I was saying with the Santa fly through, we really wanted that. Like sometimes we could just, for those projections on the coves, we could just animate something on the pixel map. So with Santa, we basically discovered that the best way was just having him fly along the pixel map. And we kind of like cheated the perspective of him based on, it was like you had to put on your 3D goggles and imagine yourself, like sitting in the theater. And also we did have a previs that Grant kind of handled. So we would pipe things through and send it into the previs so we can kind of see how it would look in context. But it's like you're sitting there thinking, okay, if he's on this part of the pixel map, are we going to be seeing the bottom of him or behind him, or what's it going to look like? And so you're like animating stuff on the pixel map that's then going to get bent, and onto the coves and everything. So there's all that kind of stuff. But with the clouds, we really wanted it to feel immersive. Like their goal was for it to feel like the sphere, even though it's not a spherical space. It's not the sphere. It's just like, it's this weird like cone shape, overall. So it's like we had to do so much testing with lenses. Like we were playing with Octane's panoramic, equirectangular lenses.
Yeah, I messed with some of that stuff.
It works. We actually got it to like a place where, so actually the equirectangular, that would be the perfect setup for an actual sphere. But because this space is not a sphere, we had to dick around with other different types of lenses. And I found that like this one fisheye lens with a certain, field of view worked the best. And it was a lot of back and forth with me and Grant and testing in the previs, but we got it to where, the clouds like start on the LED wall and then spread and wrap around the audience and stuff. So it would be really cool to see in person. I'm probably not going to have the time to go see it, but hopefully they'll record some, video.
Yeah. Or you could send a friend to New York, got plenty of friends in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it was definitely like a cool, like learning experience. A lot of the concert visual stuff, I'm just like, I don't know that I'm learning a lot. It's more like just remixing techniques that I've used in the past, and like, it's creative, it's artistic, but it's not necessarily like learning a bunch of new technical stuff. And then, using render to kick off all of these, 7K plus renders was a crazy experience. Like,
are you using the new render checker?
Yeah, I was. So at first I was
Super
doing
nice.
the Orbex exports, which that they bloat the file size a ton.
Yeah.
And so there was one, at first it was like the clouds were fine, but then we like had to do Santa, and it was just a simple like Santa with reindeer on black. And you'd think that would be simple, but the file size was like 30 gigs. And so for each individual node to have to like first for me to have to upload that and then each individual node to have to download that, that's what was causing a huge bottleneck. It wasn't that it was like costing extra render credits. It was that it just took a long time to download. And so
they did. I'm sure you probably know this, but they added the ability to add your Dropbox to your render account. So when stuff is done, like they rendering, it just goes straight into your Dropbox account.
They told me that we were still using. That is really cool. We were still using. Well, at first I was like literally clicking the download button, which was the worst way to do it. You know, where it's just like downloading frames to my C drive and filling up my C drive. So I'm like bailing out of my C drive, and no, that is not a good way. So yeah, they recommended like a download manager, you know, that'll just take the links, and then there's like a free downloadmanager.org, but actually they've developed a proprietary one that they sent to me. So this was cool because I was able to get in contact with the whole render team. At some point I got frustrated and I just like hit them all up, and now I'm in a big group chat with them. And I sent them like so much bitchy feedback, not bitchy, but like, you know, just like, here's all the things that are broken.
Constructive
like, why is this
criticism.
still so bad?
Right.
I was I was like, why is this still so bad? So it was really cool. They fixed something on the spot. So you know how you so there's obviously a lot of flickering that happens, right? With anything that I don't know if you've had this experience, but like because of the different GPUs and the potentially different, you know, just context in each computer, like this is not like a solid render farm like you'd get from a high-end studio where you know that it's all the same GPU, all the same, you know, infrastructure of each node. So there's a lot of inconsistencies that can happen. So we'll see like color flickering, or like for instance on Santa, his hat would turn black on so many frames, you know, and then the reindeer would be slightly different color, you know, so there were things like there were things you'd have to really like check on, like, okay, the roughness map dropped out for this one frame. Like what the hell? You know, just really subtle things that are not super visible. And I found that the best way to check these things, like I actually 2 years ago asked them to put this in a playback, just a way to play back the frames in render.
They've had a way to do that for a while.
But
it doesn't play back real time. It plays back at like a fraction of the time.
Right. But I'm saying, like, I actually suggested that originally when I tested. Maybe it was 3 or more years ago. They put that in after I suggested it, and there's now a way. It's not just 2 FPS. You can choose 30 FPS, and it'll hash up. And so you can hit play and you'll see it, and obviously that's the best way to scan for any kind of inconsistencies. And
now, one thing to keep in mind though, if you're using like Dropbox or like an AWS server in order to download those files, they have to be pre-approved. Like you can't. That's one sucky part about it, is you can't go through and like they have to be automatically approved. So any errors you've got to go back and send through for another job, and that costs you render as well.
Right. Well, that's not. So in the way I was doing it, I always chose manually approved because I knew that like 25% of the frames or more would be bad. Right. At least with the tests we were doing there, and even with the cloud scene, the HDRI was randomly dropping out for a good third of the frames, like the background. And that's probably because I used like a node tree to combine HDRI. Like anything that's like not like totally standard workflow, I think render kind of chokes on sometimes. So, but that's just like a node issue.
Honestly, like I've been working with Deadline, freelancing at ABC. It's great, but we run into those problems too.
Really?
You know, where it's like, oh, this one just doesn't have textures, or I'm getting weird coloration. It's like, that's just rendering. If you're not rendering locally on every single machine that you have on one, you know, like we normally have done it, you're going to run into those issues.
That's exactly why I'm always kind of a little reticent to get into render farms, because it creates a whole new job. Like whether you put a render tech on there to like just manage things, and, you know, it can be a bigger hassle than it's worth. But if you need to render something super fast for a client, really high resolution, then it can come in clutch, you know?
It's really awesome. Like my favorite thing with render is once you finally get that project uploaded and everything, seeing it go out to every single node. It's like
Yeah,
this
like
thing is
300
rendering
300.
200 frames right now.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. It's the
Oh, that's such a
best
cool
instant
feeling.
gratification. But then at the same time, you're like, oh, but usually I hit render and then go like dick around
Do
for
stuff.
6 hours
Yeah.
until it's done and bill
Trust
my
me, there's still
client.
time to dick around.
Yeah, there is still time. So yeah, I was saying with this playback thing, like, so what I realized though is that when you have to resend a frame, for instance, I would scrub through. You can use the arrow keys now, which is great. If you hit pause,
Oh, that's great.
you don't. So it gets confused. This is one thing I told them is if it's playing back and then you use the arrow keys, like normally any other software would stop the playback and then use the arrow keys instead because it would like the arrow keys override the playback.
Yeah.
But in this case, it just gets really wonky and it continues to sometimes play back and other times use the arrow keys and it gets really frustrating. So you just have to manually pause the playback and then you can scrub with the arrow keys. So you just hold down the arrow keys and then the second you see a frame that's bad, you stop holding down the arrow keys and just, go back a few frames and find it. And then you're like, okay, I want to resend this frame, which doesn't cost any additional tokens.
Yeah.
But the most frustrating thing that was happening is that when I would resend the frame, it would reload the page, and then I would have to start at the beginning, scrub all the way back to the next frame, reload the page. So I'm like, why is it doing this? Like, it's so dumb. And they were actually able to fix that, like right on the spot. Like they were like, we actually we're just about to send off, changes for this month, and it was a really easy fix. So now it doesn't reload the page. I'm like, did you guys not think about this beforehand? Does who uses your product and tests it? So there's that.
We do.
But then also this playback is really low res. Like that's the only way you can see it in real time is it's really low res, and it's either low res or full res. And with the full res, if you're rendering 7K, it's going to take like a minute to load a single frame.
Right.
It's like, why don't you guys have a medium res?
Yeah.
Like that would be helpful, So it's just like some really obvious, like half res. Yeah, there you go. So, some really obvious like stuff. But hopefully I help them, get to be a bit of a better product. To me, it seems like it's like the render farm for like smaller jobs like this that are more indie, that are not like, super studio jobs where they're using a dedicated render farm and deadline. I've had a lot of those as well. So it's like great for indie clients and whatnot. But it also feels like it's this thing that so many crypto bros have invested in that don't understand it whatsoever.
Right.
Which, pumped up the price like crazy.
Yeah. Good for me. I have a lot of render. But
me too.
That's smart. I heard that a lot of people did really, really well by buying a lot of render initially and just, holding it or
still holding.
Farming, you're still holding it.
A good majority of the render that I have is from actually like doing jobs for other people.
That's awesome. I never got into that because I'm always rendering locally on my machine.
Yeah, you are.
Right.
But I feel like a very disloyal Octane Jesus because I should be the one that has the most tokens. Like in theory, I would be the one that's got all the render, but no, I don't have it.
No, because Jesus would give away all of his money.
Oh, that's
right.
true.
So there you go.
That's right.
You're giving it away to all the render users who are rendering your jobs.
To the render disfortunate.
Right?
That's true. And I did burn through like 16,000 tokens that they gifted me for my VR experience. So I'm going to do more of that in the near future with I've got this planetarium show opportunity in March. That's like a 30-minute thing. So that's just it's not going to be lucrative. It's just like an art show. But, I want to do like a render token grant and render all of that. Because the mirror boxes work really well.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
I was going to say, do the grant. Yeah.
Yeah. So the mirror boxes work really well, I found. Like my VR experience, I had no bad frames whatsoever. So there's something about that setup must have been true through multiple versions of Octane or across different architecture, like the way that mirrors reflect. Like ultimately, it's a pretty simple setup. So I feel like I can use render to get some crazy shit done, pretty quickly that way. And gift those tokens to all the people that are on the network.
Yep. Yeah.
He died for your samples. Hey, before we run out of time, because Matt is technically on lunch break, I want to get to our fun little AI drawing thing we're going to do for Halloween here. If you want to sign up for it right now, it's Vizcom.ai, Vizcom.ai. I don't think it's in beta anymore. I'm gonna kind of show you what I got here, and y'all are gonna bring up yours too, and we're gonna come up with something to draw. Okay, so I've put this prompt here, and I've drawn Gumby, and I got back this Gumby.
Okay.
Which is pretty fun, you know. That's
that's
pretty good. It's pretty good comparison.
Yeah.
But what's really cool about this is when you draw something, you can click on it here and you can say generate a 3D model for this. And so I did a 3D model, and now I have my 3D Gumby.
It's amazing.
And
now the thing is, if you want to like use those, you've got to pay the monthly subscription.
Of
but
course,
it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, being able to create some custom, you know, like things and stuff. Here, I'm gonna make a really crappy Spooderman. Here, let me share my
screen. And then Ariew, you start too, and we'll flip back and forth between you and Matt. I've got mine here. I'm gonna start a new layer. So everybody start. I'm gonna draw a bucket of Halloween candy. That's gonna be mine. Okay. And what are y'all doing? Y'all tell me what you're doing.
I'm doing Spooderman. Spooderman.
Spooderman.
Yeah, Spooderman, and he's got 6 legs,
Okay,
or 4 legs.
I can't draw worth shit, but
neither can we, dude.
That's why it's so funny.
No, it's really bad. Here's the one I did. Let me show you the one I did earlier. Actually, here. Where's the screen share?
Oh, you'll have to have Matt unscreen share.
Like, this was my first attempt right here.
There you go. Let me see if I can bring it. Yeah.
Can you see it?
Bring it up.
Hold on.
Yeah. Let me bring it up for the audience here. There you go. Yeah, that was it.
Like,
and
what
what
the
did
fuck
it
is
make?
that?
Did you generate?
I said cotton candy ADHD. This is what. Well, maybe it'll generate something new now.
Oh
so.
yeah, you have to add it when it's done for it to go into a layer. What I love is that you can like combine things, and there's nodes.
Oh, you can add layers, huh?
Yeah. So you can.
Oh, that's actually better. That's actually better.
You got the little face on it. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So the new one that just popped in my head is a horse playing pinball.
Oh, you do it. Do it.
Do it.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to my simple.
I go back while I create this art.
So you can do layers though. So that's what's cool is like if you wanted to do where like, you know, you create the pinball machine and then you create like the pieces separate. You know. I'm gonna
share mine.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get my. I gotta change mine to black. Let me change over to yours. What do you got? Oh man, that's funny.
Terrible. I did a Spider-Man, but let's see what it does if I do terrible Spooderman.
Terrible Spooderman. See, what's great is as you're doing this, it actually, if you do a new one, it comes up with a prompt for you, which is interesting.
Spider-Man. All right. And what's cool is like you've got this drawing influence, so like I can do like only 25% of what I am, you know, of what it does.
It also has a thing in it where you could add a material reference, or you can.
Oh, that's weird.
That's funny. You can do the material reference.
That's amazing.
But you can also do a style reference, and you could put like a certain type of photo in there as your style and give it that influence too, you know. Yeah. So I'm doing.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that one's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add this. Now check this out. Like I can do like, terrible Doc Ock, right?
What's it gonna do?
I don't know. Oh, okay, that's kind of neat. Oh, I love the.
Wow.
That's actually kind of cool. All right, I'm gonna add that. All right, so now I'm done.
Let's see how mine goes. I'm gonna go. I've got so I've got the pumpkin bucket. I'm gonna say pumpkin candy bucket is my prompt. What should my influence be? Like 80%? It's generated.
Yeah, do like 80. Yeah.
I feel like it's got to be at least 80 if you really want it to look like it. 100% is too much. That's
100%. It matches the exact shape. That is amazing.
Look at that.
That's so good. Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay.
And now make it 3D. Yeah.
Dude, that is crazy though. Okay, yeah,
Oh.
because you got the layers, so you can go back and forth.
I love it. I
Oh,
love it.
dude. Okay, wait. Is this you?
No,
Oh,
you got to bring
yes.
down your
Oh, there we
drawing
go. There we
into
go.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna wait to do it with you guys live. Here we go.
Yeah.
Generate.
You do
Not
80%.
100%.
Yeah,
though.
do
Yeah,
Let's-
do like
80.
80%. Yeah, okay.
Let's go 60.
Yeah, maybe
Let's see what
60. This is gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a real tough one. I'm gonna generate mine in 3D in the meantime. Okay, now go to 80%. Go to 80%.
That horse is really well
It's a
done.
good horse.
Yeah.
That is
That's
so funny.
You got to find that sweet spot where it like follows your drawing.
That's too sweet though.
I guess 70% it is. Oh man, I can't wait for you to make that 3D.
Yeah, my Spooderman 3D is not that great.
It's really
Okay,
trying to
this is a
keep your
fail.
drawing.
All right.
This is a
Here.
fail.
Look at this. Okay, so let me do this. So super cool is like within this you've got
Yeah,
it's
you
like
got
basically
nodes.
so inside your thing, you've got your layers or whatever. You go back to your workbench and you can add another thing which is like let's mix these two together.
That's
so
so
like
cool.
being able to mix in two nodes together and generate something.
And do their
know.
interference.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
It's similar to like what Comfy UI does. Is that right, Dave? Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
and I could
just
see this being like in the future
So, like-
in render nodes, So
yeah.
it's a combo.
Well, in 2024.2, the new version of Octane, they're adding like image, neural image something, basically
Right.
being able to create from your render or your still stuff. It was cool.
I got.
Yeah,
my
I mean, it's so
3D.
neat.
I
Like
got my
now I got
3D.
another image.
Check it out. Look at that.
That's
There's
so
my.
good.
Look at my 3D pumpkin. I made just by
Yeah.
drawing. The handle is.
That's so
Look
cool.
at the back.
Oh, that's weird.
But gosh, just imagine though. I mean, like without minus the handle, that would look pretty good in the background of some sort of 3D
Yeah.
animation. You could make your own assets.
Yeah.
Man, that is
And
just too
Cons
good.
was trying out earlier, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Well, you could create just a crappy 3D version of it, and then change it, like change the angle
Right.
of it, and then redraw over it and do the same prompt, so you get that same quality as a still, just from a different angle,
Right. Yeah, that's really
Anyway,
fun. Cons,
It's pretty
Con
cool.
said the
pretty,
same
pretty
thing.
Cool.
Well, Con said, "Hey, this looks like Frame.io," and then I got on to test out with Ariew, and he's like, "Hey, this looks like Frame.io." Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's funny.
that's great. Are you doing another one, David?
No, somebody said do fill shape, so I'm trying to,
Oh,
but no,
yeah.
this is just,
You can. So what's interesting is where the brush tool is. When you're drawing with the brush tool, and you do it down. There's also a paint bucket, and
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
and it's grayed out, but it works anyway, which
Yeah.
is weird. I don't know. You want to show us
I'm
what
seeing
you're doing?
is it. Yeah, sure.
Cool.
I don't think I doubt it's gonna help, but.
Cool. Then we'll have to wrap.
Oh wait. Yeah, no, it had the old prompt of cotton candy ADHD. Let's see.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't work.
But it did add some cotton candy there. So
What's your?
yeah, I'm
got
not
it at
being very
100.
creative with my colors here.
You're gonna
What's
have
that?
to go. You're gonna have to bring your prompt strength down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey, that's
nope.
better.
Hey, that's
That's not bad.
bad. Okay, try 80.
80 might be. Well, let's see.
Oh, 80, maybe 80 to 90. It actually got the horse right, which is cool.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Hey!
That's pretty good.
It
That's
worked?
pretty
That's
good.
awesome.
Wow.
That's
Gosh.
really
Yes.
fun. I gotta show my kids this.
Now
Yeah,
I
they-
love this.
click add. Okay, and then X out of that, and then right click and tell it to make it 3D, because this should be very interesting. So, yeah, right there, generate.
My
Oh wait,
God.
let's do it.
Oh,
Is
boy.
it
It's
doing
so
it?
janky.
Is it already doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Mine took a couple minutes, but yeah. Cons was like, all right, now do 3D. That's great. There you go. Make it bigger so we can see it.
There you go.
Oh, sorry.
Let's see.
Is there a way to turn off? I'm going to turn off the old layer here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now
How do you tumble?
In the middle.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
I love it.
That is
This is going to
great.
replace.
You know what could be pretty
Yeah.
neat? If like, I wonder, I would love to be able to, I wonder if you can try taking like a grayscale, like blocking out some stuff, you know, in cinema, render that out
Oh, yeah,
without
for
textures
sure.
or anything, bring
Oh,
it
yeah.
in and then say what it's supposed to be and
Have
keep
it
the
texture it.
influence at like 90%.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
But then you would have issues with with it interpreting the 3D scene properly, and like when you tumble around, it could be like really janky again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like an
Yeah.
interesting way to try and hack it for it to texture a cinema 4D.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just-
even just for like a style frame, like here's a previs thing, pipe it through this, now it's textured. You know?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
were
interesting.
experimenting with this the other day. I was talking to Chris in Discord, and he was like, he just had his viewport open working on some concert visual type stuff, and I was piping it into my system and back to him and putting prompts and turning his viewport into full blown like concert renders on the fly. It was pretty interesting.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
interesting. You
That's
can see
awesome.
where it's going.
Yeah. Cons was like new soft body sim.
Yeah.
Or now
Now
soft
soft body
sim.
the horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
So cool.
I want to see someone do like what that ugly short film by do you know what I'm talking about? What's that guy's name? Ugly Vimeo. It's by Nikita Diacor. Do you remember that guy?
Okay. Mm-mm.
Here, I'll post this in the chat.
I might have it here.
He's just got a very distinct,
it.
like super janky, but like really well done style. It's all in Cinema 4D with like dynamics and connectors and all sorts of madness, but he intentionally makes it like low poly and janky and like very ugly characters. And yeah, this is just his style. I'm sure you've seen this stuff before. It's all like physical render.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it reminds me
like,
of that video game.
Yeah. So I feel like somebody could make some pretty crazy art with a bunch of these models that are just like extremely janky, but turn it into a style, you know?
Yeah. If you can't fix it, feature it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and just add beep, 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 bop, beep, 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 ah in the background and you're good to go, right, Dave? All right, let's get out of here.
All
'cause I
right,
gotta
we got to
pee
get
so
out
bad.
here. I wish we
Okay.
had more time, but
Yeah, I wanted
let's
to
go.
ask you guys more about like the state of the industry in general and like how you feel it's changed, because that was kind of like how we opened, or like
Yeah.
what you guys were saying, but I don't know.
Well, we'll
I know-
do
yeah, I
another
know you
one.
gotta run.
We'll do another one for sure. You got to be
Yeah.
on more next year, you know?
I know I do.
Don't let anybody beat you with the record of how many times you've been on the show, you know?
Right? Yeah, I was expecting a 3-hour endeavor today, like we always do, but
Yeah, we're
Been
only
going a
an
little bit
hour-
shorter lately.
an
It's
hour
been,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
been nice.
It
Good,
has
good.
been
Okay,
kind of
cool.
nice. But yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
I agree
definitely do more for sure. Like we got, like we could take almost everything that we want to discuss with each other and turn each subject into an episode. I'm sure,
Definitely.
So yeah, we appreciate you doing it. I gotta go get my DJ stuff ready. I gotta go get my zombie makeup on. Get ready for all that. Make sure that y'all are checking out the channel later for Patrick's video. That'll be coming up. Make sure that you check us out on mograph.com, mograph.com/TV, where you can watch these shows 24/7. In fact, I will be putting all the Halloween episodes on here shortly. So if you want to flip over to that, stay tuned, and those will come on. And just follow us on all the things. And we will catch you next week with Winbush.
Yep.
And until then, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm David.
Have a good one.
Later, yo.
Later, yo.
guess. Introducing MoGraph TV from MoGraph.com, a free motion graphics and animation channel streaming your favorite content and favorite artists 24/7. MoGraph TV features motion graphics tutorials, talks, tips, inspiration, and replays of popular live shows. We offer something for all levels of designer, from introductory tutorials to high-level breakdowns and everything in between.
That track looks great to me.
MoGraph TV features software like Cinema 4D, After Effects, Unreal Engine,
What up?
third-party plugins, and other 2D and 3D software. We also feature live motion events, short-form clips, crypto art, and even a little photo and video editing. Learn from the people that inspire you most, and stay up to date on all the latest industry news, announcements, and community events. You'll also see exclusive offers only available by watching. With 3 8-hour blocks each day, you'll be sure to catch everything, no matter what your time zone. Keep it on as a companion to your workday and learn something new. Meet a friend, watch a demo, catch a classic tutorial, or even find new inspiration.
That's a British word?
A lot of things are British words.
Yes, good luck with all your projects.
MoGraph TV, television for the design community 24/7.